Hi, I'm Tommy Vincent, your host of Stay a While podcast, recording live from Radio Row at Super Bowl 60. This season, we have some phenomenal guests that are joining us at the Stay a While table. So pull up a seat, get comfortable, and come and stay a while. Tune into our conversations to receive nourishment for your mind, your body, and your soul. Hi, this is your personal invitation to come, take a seat, and stay a while. I am your host, Tommy Vincent, and joining me on Stay a While podcast today, I have Elizabeth Dillow Jenkins. She is the President and COO of the Women's National Football Conference. What began as a love for the game became a calling, one she stepped into after seeing firsthand the barriers women face in football. Through the WNFC, Elizabeth is building a professional, sustainable league focused on equity, excellence, and real pathways for women to be respected and to get paid to play. Shall I call you Elizabeth or Dillow?
Just call me Dillow. Okay. We're family. You can call me Dillow.
So Dillow, welcome to Stay a While podcast. I am honored to finally get you into the chair.
It's an honor to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So I want us to just dive right on in to the fact that you are on a mission to create sustainable pathways for girls and women to be able to excel and play the game of football, both tackle and flag, not only just to play, but to get paid as well.
Correct.
Why is that so important to you?
So many women were born to play football. It was their calling too. And there's a lot of women that don't find themselves for the first time until they step on a football field. And when you have that kind of revelation of who you are and this is what I'm supposed to be doing, for there not to be that opportunity to earn a living wage when doing your calling is crazy. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's time. It's been time. Women have been playing tackle football and flag football even. I know there's a recent boom, but we've been doing this for decades, you know, and it's time. And we've done it at the highest level personally, Odessa and I, and it's how we met. And when we got there, we said, wow, this is the top. And yet nobody knows about it. So we decided we were going to change that. And that's what we're doing.
So let's frame this up a little bit, because while now you are the COO and the president of the league, mm-hmm. let's give you an opportunity for a minute mm-hmm. to toot your own horn. So give us your background in playing professional tackle women's football.
Yeah. I started in 2004. So a long time ago. I played for over 20 years. I had the privilege of being selected for the U.S. national team in 2017 as an offensive lineman, a guard. And then again in 2022 as a center. And I've won countless national championships and now 2 gold medals as an offensive linewoman. And you know, used to be everybody knew the name because, you know, it was my time to play, but my time to play has since passed. And a lot of the young ones coming in have no idea who. They're like, oh, you played? Yes, I did.
Not only played,
I did.
Okay.
I did. I played well.
Yeah.
I played well. But I was one of those girls that I mentioned that, like, I really didn't find my confidence until I played football. And it was on the turf in football cleats and actually being allowed to put my hands on somebody and in that manner, right? In a protective yet guard my quarterback and do my job manner that I was like, wow, I'm actually really good at something. You know, not to say I wasn't feeling like I was capable of doing everything because I'm just that, you know, figure it out type person. Mm-hmm. But I shined on the football field. And I think that was the first time that I really, truly shined. Mm-hmm.
So playing sports, I believe that there are so many transferable life skills. And for that matter, there are a lot of executives and people in HR, when they're looking at employment applications, they're looking for, when they see that you play sports, that actually it works in your favor.
Yeah.
So what would you say are some of the transferable skills that you've acquired throughout your journey playing sports that now serve you well as an executive currently yourself?
Yeah. I think finding my voice, right? So a lot of times women, and not even just women, but people are hesitant to speak up. And I found my voice on the football field. So learning to express myself and learning to not be afraid or intimidated to speak up when I felt like I needed to speak up, whether it was getting the team to rally behind the fact that we were down or, continuing to uphold standards that we set for women in the sport. So I would say like that's first and foremost is one of them, because a lot of times, even in corporate America or in the boardrooms, folks don't always speak up.
Yeah.
And football taught me that. And it taught me to be okay to speak up with things I was confident in. Another is getting people to work together. I think football is the ultimate team sport. And there are so many different personality types on a football team. And usually they're kind of characterized by what position group they're in. But learning how to speak to all different personality types and getting them all to rally around the same cause and truly become, come together and build that culture and that family. So all of those things, I think, when you make a strong team, whether it's a football team or a corporate team, it's all very relevant and important in the success of the overall goals of the organization.
Absolutely. So let's talk about when you have a team, because this transfers from the field of play and also in the workforce as a leader. If you have a team member who is skilled, and it requires everybody to get in proper alignment so they can complete their assignment.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, this team member is just not staying on the same page with everybody else. How long do we keep them on the line before we have to say, this doesn't work?
Yeah. We learned that lesson over the years, right? It's a very delicate balance. Because a lot of times someone's personality is their strength, and it's trying to figure out how to get them to maybe mold a little to what benefits the team the most, at the same time not taking away their individuality, right? That makes them who they are. At the end of the day, there's a standard, and you'll probably hear me say that a lot, but if you have a certain kind of foundation and rules of operations or, guidelines of how you want your organization to run, we either all meet that and agree to that, or we don't. And if we can't, I think ultimately that's when we decide it's probably time to, part ways.
Sometimes that's the decision that we have to
Sometimes
make.
Right? But other times I think that, delivering tough feedback is part of the job, right? And it's not feedback that's trying to break them. It's feedback that's trying to mold them to just be the best version of themselves for themselves and the team. A lot of times you don't even see that yourself, right? I'm aged. I'm a veteran in this space now, and I can say when I came in and I was young, you had a hard time giving me feedback. I had a really hard time receiving feedback because I was, very confident in my abilities and very strong-minded and strong-willed. So I knew everything I needed to know.
Yeah.
And I did not.
Yeah.
I did not. And I'm still, even to this day, learning and growing, and I think that that's what it is constantly. But when you find the people that are willing to grow with you, with the organization, those are the right ones to keep around.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we started taping, we started talking about, as entrepreneurs building something, it really does require everything you got. Everything you got.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of hours, there's a lot of sleepless nights, early mornings, and let me frame this properly. We don't leave room for ourselves to have moments to pause. That is a self-inflicted wound.
Yes.
So I say, give it all you got, but not more than you have to give.
Yeah.
So I want us to talk about that for people who are listening, who are entrepreneurs. They are committed to running the race that's before them so that they can truly launch into purpose.
Yeah.
But being able to identify I don't want to say balance because I believe that the scale always is going to tip in
Sure.
favor of what the priority is of the moment,
Yep.
but more of a harmony
Yep.
where we can get to this harmony where we're moving through things. So when you think about where you are in the building phase, well, you're beyond building. You and Odessa are beyond building WNFC.
Yep.
You're now like in the rocket, and the rocket is,
Yeah.
blasting
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
How are you, or where would you like to identify more harmony?
Yeah. Every year we are very intentional about how we spend our New Year's Eve, and it's always putting a vision board together of what we want to achieve personally, as a couple, as a family, but then also as a business. And we've done that now for the last 4 or 5 years, and this year we didn't get a chance to do it. And
You didn't get a chance because y'all said
so the play. This was the first time in, I think, since we've been a union, been a partnership, that we spent New Year's Eve out, like, frankly, with other people.
okay.
So normally we kind of close ourselves in and are very intentional about that weekend. And this year was a little different, and we felt the need to go see family because we had a death in the family right before the holidays. And so we never got back to that. And I keep telling Odessa, like, we have got to do this. Like, it's already February and we have yet to do our vision board. It's one of the things where you mentioned harmony is sometimes understanding when the people in your world may need you more than you needing each other in those moments. And we're both very strong right now, despite the loss and the adversity, and where and I say unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time, we've gotten good at dealing with the hard stuff really well. And it's taken some significant losses over the years for us to kind of find that. But the one thing that we know is that we're rooted in faith. Like, what we're doing is we're not just passionate about it. It is purpose driven. And we are very faithful to our calling, and that's what this is. So where a lot of times it feels like a rat race and we're running all over and we cannot keep up, other times we sit back and we do take those even very small moments to reflect on how far we've come and what we've built thus far. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Our goal is to get women paid to play football, and that is what we will do. So we're still very aggressively working towards that, while we're still, in our primes and feel like we can sustain these never-ending days and weeks and months sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is harmony. And I think in the toughest moments, our faith, but also our love for each other and our passion and purpose for what we're doing is what keeps us grounded.
How do you keep the women of the WNFC fueled to keep doing this sport that they love, while they're also working full-time jobs and also having to make the full-time commitment to train so that they can be the professionals required to play at this level?
It's a really good question. I think about not just the women who are in it right now, but also the women who started when I started 20 years ago and even before me. Those women are well past, even beginning to reap the benefits of what we're building. But at the same time, it's still getting them to stay engaged with the purpose. So what they put in isn't for nothing, or wasn't for nothing, even though so many of them will tell you because of the why that they do it, it has nothing to do with money. It's their ability to go and do it. The fact that there's a platform out there for them to do it. So what we do is we continue to make that platform bigger and better every single year. So even if we're not there yet, every single year we find more ways to pour into the athletes via either the platform that we're building or with, various programs and incentives and ways that we can just try to get the world to see them more and more and more, right? So that's, I think, how we're we keep trying to sweeten the deal every year. We just keep trying to make it sweeter, make it better. And we're very transparent on where we are with them, and what we're building towards and all the obstacles that we face, and how right now this isn't about just Odessa and I and the WNFC. This is about all 1,000 athletes and 300 coaches and countless volunteers that make this thing go round. And it's going to continue to be them. It is, even after we get to that mark.
Yes.
It's still going to take every single one of them to carry it on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, because we can't do anything by ourselves.
No.
Not at the level that we're looking to accomplish. You need a team. You need a community.
Yes.
And you need all hands on deck so that we can be successful.
Yeah. And people that see the purpose in serving, right? Probably not something I want to admit to, but I didn't fully understand servant leadership until I met Odessa. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and I was taught hard work. We had a little farm, and everything was hard work. So I learned that, but serving, I don't know that it was at the forefront of what was ingrained in me, and Odessa taught me that, and so that is something that I'm continuing to try to open others' eyes to now, as I see them kind of where I was, which is you do things very well, but it's always about your goal in the end and not anything around you. So take a moment to pour into the community and pour into what's around you. And so our ability to keep everybody engaged in pouring back into this is what's going to get us there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit, because you're also a mother.
I am.
And you have a son. Tell me your son's name.
Keon.
Keon is a baller.
He is.
And you also are a baller. So your lens in his journey as a football player and in college is different than a mom, say like myself, who never played football. You see it from the perspective of what it takes, and also the heart of your son now on your sleeve, out pursuing this dream.
Yep.
How do you show up for him as mom and not immediately go into Dillow, the offensive line woman?
So that one's probably more of a tough balance, only because fierce competitor is ingrained in who I am, right? That's rooted in me, is compete. But I will say that, Keon is my heart and has my heart, and I will listen to him first. I feel like I do a good job to let him know that I will always be there to hear him. But I am also probably going to be the first to kick him in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm a tough mom. I am. But I know my son. I know my son well. And I know my son sometimes needs a little extra to really get to his full potential, But he's a beautiful, intelligent, funny, and very caring and loyal young man. And so the family, it was not just me. His father and I, we've had a beautiful relationship since he was born. We've co-parented him since he was a year old, in separate households, and he just has an entire village. So and Odessa has played such a critical role in him maturing into a very respectful young man as well. So he's a lucky kid.
Yeah.
He's a lucky kid. He's a lucky kid, but he's gonna get an equal dose of compassion, but also motivation from me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's talk about Got Her Back.
Okay.
And the work that you're doing there. And you talked about servant leadership, and now your ability, you have your for-profit entity of Women's National Football Conference, and you also have your nonprofit, where you're doing work and you're really making sure that young girls have an opportunity to do the work that you're doing. You have a partnership with Dove. So you're investing there as well. Let's talk about it. What should we know about it, and why it's so important for that organization to exist?
Yeah, I think the root of how it started is pretty self-explanatory on why it should exist. When people see the WNFC anymore, they see us as the go-to for women's football, from tackle to flag, everything. We're the go-to, right? Mm-hmm. And we started, even before we played our first game, after the announcement and the launch of the league, we started getting outreach from parents of young girls that were playing tackle football that were being bullied. we started getting outreach from coaches that were coaching young women on all boys teams and needed help with them maturing in their bodies and how to help with equipment and how do they advise them? What do they tell them to get? And immediately we were like, this is crazy. Like, but at the same time, we're going to own that, right? We're going to own that responsibility of being the steward for women and girls in football. And immediately we said, okay, we're going to have her back. That's what Got Her Back is. It's bringing awareness, education, mentorship, and visibility to the fact that there are thousands of little girls out there that are playing tackle football right now, and flag football as well. But that, the path isn't always as easy for them because they don't fit in with the girly girls, and maybe their friends were making fun of them because they weren't cheerleaders, and then the boys were giving them a hard time. And even some of the stories were the parents in the stands saying that the girl was only getting playing time over their son because she was a girl. And it's like all of these things that like just should not exist, that exist. And that's what birthed Got Her Back and the mission. And now it's just, I want to say evolved, but it hasn't. It's grown. There's been a lot of work. Eventing is not easy, but we put together camps and clinics every year. We have, upwards 20 clinics that are, over 2,000 girls registered across the country to go and learn football and just have a place for them where it's girls only that are taught the fundamentals of football. They're put through the combine drills for the first time, right? Early on in their careers. So, but also a place where we can amplify the stories of these girls. And then we can pair them with mentors who are adult women's tackle football players. All of our camps are coached by adult women's tackle football players and adult women's flag football players. So, seeing is believing, and putting the people in front of them that are doing it so they know there's a whole army of women out there that have their back.
Yeah, and there's a pathway for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, because they can see it, right? If they see it, they can be it.
Absolutely.
And you all are demonstrating to them, no, you can do this.
You can do this. There's a platform. I could probably sit here and tell you all of the emails that we receive and the stories for days, but there have been parents that have dads that are so proud of their daughter for playing tackle football with the boys that the daughter goes to bed defeated at night. And then he found us and he was so excited for the next morning where he got to wake up and show his daughter, look, there's women playing tackle football. There's a whole league for women playing tackle football. You're not alone in this passion and this desire that you have to play this sport. There's a place for you. And that's powerful. It's showing it, to your point, it's the pipeline, it's the dream, it's showing them that it's there for them and that we belong there too.
Absolutely. So when you think about young Dillow,
which young, like you get the
just think about her.
Which young, okay.
And where you are today.
Yeah.
What would you say to her to keep her encouraged that it's going to be okay?
Just keep working towards your goal. Just keep working towards your goals. And that if you stay focused on what your goals are and you work hard and you are just unrelenting in your pursuit of that, whatever that is, don't stop. Just keep going because it's going to work out for you. Even if it's not what you thought it was going to be, it's going to work out for you.
Always does.
Always does.
Always does.
Yeah.
So I have a new book, The Table of Life, Nourishing the Soul with Food, Love, and Faith. And the premise of the book is to teach the reader how to build their table one dish at a time using all of the ingredients of their life. What is an ingredient in your life that is necessary for all of your dishes in order for you to be able to show up as you?
I think that ingredient's love. My mom was a bring people together type person. My mom she loved to cook. She loved to cook as well. She left us with a cookbook. And we were fortunate enough to get that from her. I know.
Wow.
I know.
Now that's rare.
It's insane. And her little quirks and jokes she's sprinkled throughout this cookbook, and we have that. And my mom always took so much pride in preparing a beautiful meal for whomever she was bringing to the table. But it was rooted in love because my mom loved so hard. If you've met my wife, she loves so hard. My love is often mistaken because I'm a very, I'm not, And when you know me, you know me.
Yes.
I have a hard shell. And I think part of that is just me always so focused on where I have to go and what I have to achieve. But inside, it's love. Everything I do is rooted in love, whether that's the love for the game or the love for the people around me. So I think that ingredient is love.
I love that ingredient. I love that ingredient. It just conquers a multitude of things. Love has the power to do so much. Before I let you go, one is if there's anything that you would like to share with our listening audience, I would love for you to do that. And then also share with us how we can stay engaged with what you have going on and all the things WNFC.
Yeah. So thank you for the platform, and thank you for taking the time to have me, because it was really cool. My first invite
You
for a
better
podcast.
stop
So,
it.
No,
You better
my
stop
first
it.
invite for a podcast. So thank you for that. It felt good to be seen. It did. I would say to everybody watching, and follow us, just go check out a game this year in person, or it'll be streaming live on Victory Plus. But follow WNFC football, follow I Got Her Back. We're very easy to find on social media, but come to a game or stream a game and watch it. And then I think just at the end of the day, knowing that every one of the women that are out there playing and giving it their all and playing at the highest level that exists for women's tackle football, is that all of those women are exactly like their watchers, right? They're exactly like the people viewing them. And that's that they're working super hard. They have families, their mothers, their sisters, their best friends, their partners, their wives. And they got a lot going on. But they're sacrificing so much of it just to be able to play the sport at the highest level.
Yeah, and I can concur. I've been to the games, and they are phenomenal, and the league is outstanding. This is the elite of the elite. The women playing in WNFC, they are professional women football players. So get to a game.
Get to a game.
Well,
Thank you, Tommy.
Dillow, I appreciate you joining me here today at Stay a While podcast, and just know you are always welcome.
Thank you.
At my table.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you felt the love and connection in today's conversation. Every woman you heard from has faced the impossible and emerged stronger. This is your personal invitation to stay a while longer at TommyV.com. That's TOMMIV.com for more inspiration for your mind, body, and soul. And let's not forget your belly. You're always welcome at my table. Please be sure to subscribe, make yourself at home, and stay a while.